Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
But inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review.
Let's review. Greg.
Sounds divine.
Season 9.
Bum.
Bum. All right, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. It is our penultimate episode of Christmas in July 2022, our 9th season, the penultimate season before the 10th installment of Christmas in July. My God, Dragon. We are back with a really exciting pitch. You and I have just recently watched Succession. I was the first one to the party. I told you about it. You followed and you saw how addictive it was and how great the characters were. So, Dragon, we're going to make a Christmas special about it, and we have a lot to cover. So let's just dive right into it. What's the context here? What do we need to know?
All right.
Hold on. Let me do my Carlton cues to start it off. All right, just as an honorary note. All right. Previously on Succession.
All right. So basically, we're setting this after the events of season 3 because fitting it in between might have been a little complicated. So essentially, the way season 3 ended, spoilers, folks, major spoilers for season 3.
Actually, yes, that should be. I don't know. That's probably going to have the barrier of entry for this podcast a little high, but yeah, we should absolutely note that this is all writing off of the status quo shift at the end of season 3. So yes, if you're not caught up on Succession, I mean, if you know the basic premise of Succession and you just want to see what we do with the characters and don't necessarily care about spoilers, by all means. But if you're like, if you're planning on watching it, or if you're like midway through the show or whatever, maybe come back to this one. But by all means, this is going to be Dragon. This is essentially our pitch for season 4, episode 1.
I mean, roundabout way, either that or like a little Christmas special between seasons. But yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I could see a Christmas special between seasons too, but I don't know. I would like to think that what we did here is basically like lay the groundwork for what could be a season 4, like what a season 4 could look
Well,
like.
again, it's kind of the way I like to work. I like to kind of figure out how it would actually work if they were to kind of incorporate it into the canon, as it were.
Right. So,
All right.
right.
So again, we're after season 3, which means Luca Matson is how you pronounce this? Matson?
Matson, yes, and I think we should be calling him Matson and not Luca, because that's what everyone calls him on the show. So I know you have it in the notes as Luca, but let's just call him Matson.
So they all call him Matson.
Yes.
Right. Point, we got Matson here. Matson, the what is it? Alexander Skarsgård? Which Skarsgård is it?
It is Alexander.
Ah, okay, they got the big one. All right, Alexander Skarsgård.
They did.
Anyways, so Tarzan himself. So we got Matson here. He's basically essentially he bought. If you correct me if I'm wrong, he bought out Waystar. And he's the new CEO of the company. As Logan essentially has retired, but he still has he basically has control over the assets. So he's going to.
He basically gave Logan carte blanche over like whatever division he wanted. Like basically made Logan an offer of like, look, like I'm like, you can retire, but by all means, anything you want to do, you could still have a hand in.
Exactly. So pretty much the rich get richer, even if he does leave the company behind. So what happened? The big thing that happened is that Tommy Boy, the kids did not like this. They did not want to turn over control and like essentially have their birthright given to Matson, kind of this young up and comer guy. So it's like, hey, let's team up and let's go against Dad and basically put him in his place and just try to talk him out of it. And Tom got wind of this and he ratted on the kids, resulting in them getting cut out of the company during the restructuring. So basically, I think the idea is that Matson's got like a new board and everything, like kind of devised from scratch. Assumedly, Tom would be grandfathered in either that or he'd be working right under Logan because of what he did, along with Greg. So the point being, the kids, because they were kind of staging this kind of coup of sorts, they got completely cut out of the company, which is basically setting up here where this is going to make for the most miserable and awkward family Christmas in the wake of that.
Indeed, indeed.
So yeah,
All
so
right.
it's Christmas time. Logan's having the annual Christmas party at his place, and he wants everyone there, which includes the kids that probably don't like him that much right now.
Also, I'm just going to throw out that I think that Tom's move at the end of season 3 is like the best move by anyone in the show so far.
It was rather good. We also homage like a little bit of The Godfather, that door closing.
Of course, of course. We also homage The Godfather at the end of season 2 with Kendall's kiss.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Fredo kiss. Yeah.
Yes, yes, indeed.
It's the Fredo kiss.
Watch season 4. There will be like some oranges.
Oh god, like orange sherbet or something.
Oh god.
Like an orange sorbet or what have you. Like mimosas, who knows?
Oh my god.
Point being, so again, it's Christmas time. Logan, the idea is that Logan is trying to transition the company here and trying to do it around the holidays. Like, hey guys, we're in good hands. I'm retiring, but I'm still around, and here's the new guy that I have all the utmost faith in. So that's kind of the big
basically
setup.
He wants to make a big show out of Skarsgård.
And a big reason Logan kind of did this whole thing, if I recall, Tiki, and correct me if I'm wrong here, was like a huge reason for that he made the deal was that he wanted to get out of the fire that was under him over the cruise line thing.
True, yeah.
So again, ultimately, this is kind of Logan like I don't get or want to deal with the ramifications of my actions, so I'm going to kind of take an early retirement, but still have all the power.
So Dragon, showing off the new CEO, basically, it's going to require the new CEO to actually physically be there, right?
Yeah, and Logan's essentially preparing like a big show of things, and he's expecting everyone to show up as they were invited, which again, the kids are showing up, so why wouldn't anyone else show up? Trying to show like the family's all together, we're all good, despite, obviously big rumblings on the inside. So he wants everyone there, especially the kids, for the whole Santa stunt he has planned later, which we'll get to.
I mean, he wants the kids there, but he wants the kids there for personal reasons. But from a business sense, he needs Skarsgård there.
Absolutely, yes. So let's see. So he's trying to sell this like the best thing, and it's something. And ultimately, again, his whole thing with the kids too is like, I'm doing this for your own good. So it's like this is the thing this is gonna bring us closer together as a family. And basically, it's a father who refuses to admit he made a bad call. That's essentially what this whole thing is. It's Logan Roy just completely unable to admit, maybe my kids were right. Kind of the thesis of this whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so Logan. So we have the great Brian Cox here. He's going to be playing Logan Roy in a very jolly, kind of riding high, kind of way at this.
Logan Roy has never been more on top than he is at the start of the episode.
Like we start the show with him like being a little incontinent, so now we have it like he's in the Perry Como sweater and everything. He's the life of the party. He's wearing Christmas colors. And so we have Kendall, Shiv, and Roman. They arrive at the party, and they're kind of our POV, boots on the ground. Kind of the three perspectives are really basically our main entry points of the episode. We're kind of juggling these three character perspectives, and they're utterly miserable. They don't want to be there. They were forced to be there. So let's see, kind of rounding them out here. So let's see. So Kendall, he feels like. Basically, he's feeling like it was all for nothing after he kind of had a moment of catharsis at the end of last season. Because last season he's kind of gotten over, he's kind of worked through he was finally able to tell his siblings about the guilt that he had ever since season 1 and the hold that his father had over him.
Yeah, that is a big weight off of his chest, but he has another weight on his chest with the the ambiguous suicide attempt.
Yeah.
So a big theme of the episode with Kendall, essentially like he can be a joke at times. Like my boy Squiggle, we'll get to him soon. But Kendall is kind of like the emotional rock of the show. Like he is like the character that is like, all the characters are terrible people, including him. But he has the most emotional attachment from the audience, I think, and there's no difference in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that Kendall does get humbled at the very start of the series, and he's kind of working his way back from that. And because of that, you identify with him, despite the fact that he's very overprivileged and everything. But you get to see what kind of made him that way. So there's a sympathy there,
right?
So again, point being, so Kenny's thinking basically everything he's done up to this point it's been kind of rendered useless, and his kids won't even come to Christmas with him this year. They're going to stay with mom. because of, again, of the ambiguous suicide attempt. And I think the kids are fearing a reprisal, given like, oh man, things are not going great for Dad right now. I don't want to muddy Christmas up with him trying to do it again.
And Kendall, he is trying to up the ante with the gifts, Dragon. He's given out some pretty elaborate gifts, including a new turntable for his boy Squiggle.
So Ken, even though he doesn't want to be there, he's putting on a brave, like, professional face, and what he's done is he's brought the DJ, his personal DJ that he thinks Dad really liked at his party.
Exactly.
He thinks that went over well, in which no, it
didn't. L to the OG.
So that's kind of a callback to the L to the OG theme. Perhaps Roman was showing up. He's like, "Dear God," after he says, "Well, what do you think?" At the turntable together, he's like, "Dear God, do not rap again. Only thing I want wrapped from you is a Christmas gift, buddy. Not again." So, the point is, Roman. Speaking
we need more Squiggle. I feel like we could get like a YouTube mini series of Squiggle or something.
I can see a running gag with Squiggles. I wouldn't necessarily.
Yeah.
Point being, let's see. So Shiv here, she. So ultimately, she's gonna be like kind of the Grinch of this whole thing.
My
she's
God,
very much just the.
Shiv is like in full-on Scrooge mode the whole damn episode.
Absolutely. So Shiv, I think the idea here is that
she's hating life.
But I think on some level, I could be wrong here. I think on some level she respects Tom for what he did because it's something she would do. But
if Tom did it to anyone else but her, it would probably like win her over to him.
Yeah.
But
she got the raw end of it, so she still hates his guts at the same time. And she's basically drinking her feelings. She's drinking her feelings away as well as her weight in eggnog.
Essentially, Shiv is going to be Mr. Turner in the good Fairly Odd Parents Christmas special.
Yes. Nog.
All
right, so Roman, meanwhile, the idea of Roman is he's always deflecting and distracting himself from like the real problems he doesn't want to face. So Roman, he's very, he's just being really crass. Like he's like having almost like a bad Santa Christmas to a degree. You're just being really crass in the festivities and like kind of like a. Anyway, he's got kind of this sardonic attitude of the Christmas party. Basically, he says like, "Yeah, let's go to the Christmas party before it all comes crashing down." Like knowing that things are not going to go well with the company. It's like, yeah, sure. Like just kind of being really cavalier about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the guests roll in, and we're kind of setting the tone of all that. Like it or not, they're all there for a family Christmas because they're a family at Christmas. So speaking of which, we have good old Connor. I love Connor, man, when he pops up. And, I love that Connor does not take up a lot of space.
Did you know that Connor Roy was interested in politics from a young age?
Matter of fact, I did.
Sorry.
So that's the thing. So, of course, I love how Connor does not need necessarily take up, because he's in kind of this very unique position. He's not the one going after the company or the legacy, but he's kind of trying to build his own thing, which I think on some level... on some level, I like to think that at least at one time, Logan Roy really respected his son, or at least kind of got to a point where he may have respected his son for a brief moment with the aspirations, but then seeing how much of a joke his son really is and the fact that, man, he really should have stuck with the company and would have done well. So maybe like the bitter irony of the show is that Connor actually probably could have been the best successor had he just followed, had he been taken under Logan Roy's wing, for all we know.
He really would have been like the ultimate yes man.
That's the thing. He probably would have been like the go-to who wouldn't have really rebelled or anything. He's the eldest son. Would have worked out for him.
He is the eldest son.
We know for a fact he's the eldest. Don't anger Cameron, kids. He's the eldest. Anyway,
I keep forgetting that is Cameron.
Is it Alan Ruck or it's Alan Ruck, right? That's the last name. So I make sure he keeps it. Part of me keeps wanting to say Rudd, but no, he's not related to Paul Rudd at all. Anyway, Connor and Willow, his girlfriend, they arrive and they basically recap the whole position from the outside thing, and Pete probably walks up to the siblings and says, "Hey, I guess you guys don't want to be here." Basically, he would be our way of recapping season 3 when he walks in. He would kind of maybe Mr. Exposition and say, "Well, because he was never really in the company or during that whole struggle during this coup. He's rather chipper and he's unaffected by things, but he's all wrapped up like in his story of the episode, which is very brief. It essentially is a 1%er gift of the Magi story."
Yes.
He's like gloating to Kendall, like, "Hey, Kendall, You never believe what I got Willa. It's
Oh my God.
amazing. I mean, never in a million years. And then Rome would say, like, what, did you give her like another shriveled up body, genital body part of, of a celebrity or conqueror?
Oh man.
It's just like, no. Anyway. So let's see. So Tom is Logan's number one guy. He's just, you are my number one guy. He's Logan's number one guy, who's like organizing the party along with
He's
Golden
basically
Boy.
like the head man on the floor, like like on the ground floor, making sure the party's going over well.
Which we saw that is kind of in Tom's character, because Tom's like he was all over the wedding and everything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But he's got a little assistant. He's got a little helper elf.
Yeah, little golden boy Greg. So Greg, the idea is that Greg's kind of Greg and Tom are the golden boys. Are like the ones that are being put on a pedestal here because they stuck by Logan when the kids abandoned them and all that. And of course, they both of them were very key in undoing what the hold that Kendall had. So Greg basically holding the documents and everything.
Indeed.
Let's see. So Greg, the idea is that Greg, I think he's happy without thinking of the implications that got him there.
I mean, Greg is just like, as always, he's oblivious to what's really going on. It's like he is making good moves, but he's like oblivious to the actual human connection that comes with the moves.
Yeah, and I like to think by the end of things, he's kind of like the moral implications are slowly but surely sinking in when he sees like how bad that Santa thing goes later that we're going to lay out. So I think it's kind of like it dawns on him there. It's like, yeah, things are kind of bad. I kind of had a roll. and then pointedly, and Tom's like convincing him.
Dragon, we created the inverse of Boar on the floor, and I love it.
Yeah, pretty much. So Tom here, but Tom's like convincing Greg, in the way that Tom and Greg were. Of course, one of the great pairings of the show. It's Tom and Greg. They're buddies. They're the duo. They're the Abbott and Costello of Succession.
Indeed.
So basically, Tom is convincing them, no, we won the lottery. There's nothing to feel guilty about. We're all good here. Tom is like, I think, clinging to I think ultimately, of course, one of the great things with this dynamic is that Tom, again, much like Roman, he kind of deflects things, and I think Tom overcompensates in the whole. I can't admit that Greg might be right here, or that Greg has a point, or else it's the moral implications will weigh on me, and I won't be able to deal with it. So he's clinging to the hope that no, we're absolutely in the right. We made the right decisions. Yeah, because if I admit it, I killed my marriage and my life is over. Speaking of which, as they're kind of having they're having their kind of palsy dynamic. You got, Shiv just continually trading glances with a nervous Tom from across the room, as she's like seeking out the bartender. She's not at the bar yet, but she's probably seeing a guy with a tray, grabbing a glass and swigging, and then moving on to the harder eggnog.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. So Kendall, he's kind of the Christmas spirit of the special. He's very much kind of our pathos, kind of MVP. I like to think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, Kendall.
Go on. Sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah, he greets his father, and his father's basically like, like not really giving him a fuck off, but basically like, a polite like, eh.
Yeah, he's just kind of giving him the whole like, it's kind of Logan really putting on like the fake pleasantries and the fake compliments. Like, son, welcome to the party. So glad you could show up. And then of course the instant thing to undercut him is, where are the kids? And then of course that's that big blow to Kendall. And he says, they're as he does in kind of the stuttering way that he does. They're with their mother. So again, some point being is like, that's a shame because they're gonna miss old grandpa dressed as Santa later. He says, well, yeah. Anyway, so Jerry, meanwhile, she checks in with Roman. I really love the dynamic between Jerry and Roman. I'm interested to see where that goes in season 4. But so the idea is like Jerry, Roman did make an emotional plea to Jerry at the end of last season, which fell on deaf ears. So I think the idea here is that Jerry does. Again, she has a fondness and she sees a usefulness. She sees the value in what Roman can bring to the table, where everyone else just kind of shrugs it off. So she's offering some actual supportive words opposed to Logan. And Roman's response ultimately, just he's dangling mistletoe over his crotch in front of her, inviting her to kiss the mistletoe.
Yeah, it was absolutely a prerequisite to me that we had to have some sexual harassment gags with Roman and mistletoe.
Exactly. So
that
we
was
absolutely.
like one of the first things on my list.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got to have that, and obviously the whole Jerry Roman dynamic in which it's a sexual harassment. That's their thing. Um, let's see. Okay, so Hugo, of course, I blank on the actor's name. I know it was Martin Berard in the Blacklist. The point being, Hugo is like the guy they brought on to handle the cruise stuff. Like I think he's like one of the lawyers or one of the legal team.
I think he's like one of the big PR people.
Yeah, PR. That's what I was looking
also
for.
A lawyer. Yeah,
you're right. PR is the main thing that he's doing. So he's basically doing damage control and the whole the cruise thing. So the idea is like he's
essentially their Mike in some ways.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. That's a good way. He's kind of a fixer. He's kind of more. It's kind of like a more of like an official capacity. He's like a fixer, but
yeah. Like a Mike, like like if Mike wasn't technically working for criminals.
Yeah, sure. It's kind of a big business version of Mike Trout to a degree. Yeah, it's nowhere near as cool and lovely as Jonathan Banks. Because who can be? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Jonathan Banks is kind of
Logan Roy. Seriously, is
what?
Logan Roy cooler than Mike?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so point being, Hugo is circulating kind of at Logan's behest here, and he's like taking pictures of the party, basically a lot of Christmassy photos, like the show and shop around. That things are good in the Roy camp. So Kendall's asking Hugo, because he's kind of going around, he's taking his picture and everything. So wait, how's the? He's asking about the new CEO and how that whole thing's going. And basically, we establish, oh yeah, he's the guest of honor. We're going to give him like the whole the festive welcome wagon, but so far he's kind of a no-show. So we're kind of on our.
Would they have him like maybe like come in on a big sled or something like that?
Well, we can say there was something like that. It's like, yeah, sure, why not? Okay, fine.
Well, there's like a big sled, like waiting, like kind of roped off, and it's just kind of like it's drawing like more and more attention to it as the evening goes on. Like, hey, where is this guy? What's the deal with this sled?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure. It's like a big decorative sled, and the idea is someone's going to make an entrance on that thing. It's going to be pulled, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So, the point being, we set up that we're kind of waiting on that guy. Okay, then we have our gift of the Magi gag with Connor and Willa, again with the 1% of Christmas here. So, what did Willa get Connor?
A presidential coin of himself.
Yeah, of course they do every time you get a new president. You get like a little commemorative coin you can collect, and it's like a nice little gesture and a little memory of the president. I like to think they sell based on the popularity of a president, but who knows? There are collectors out there. Regardless, the fact is she jumped the gun and with Connor's presidential campaign. Obviously, it went south, and she had it made before it went south because she had such faith in him.
And I would like to think he is touched by this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So then Connor again,
she's kind of embarrassed to give it to him. Like, Con, this would have meant a lot more if things would have gone better. But and then like he's just like, Willa, my God, like this means so much that you believed in me like that.
And there really is. Again, the funny thing about Succession is you do have really tight knit relationships between like pairings of characters. Like for example, I mean, the thing with Kendall Roy in this is that Kendall, he really does love his kids. Like the bit that always touched me was during his birthday party. He was freaking out over not being able to find the gift that his kids gave him.
Right. That's a fantastic episode, and that one scene is like probably a centerpiece of that episode.
Now, what's great about that too is it's a fact of it's kind of twofold. It's one that Kendall does have a redeeming quality, but also it's a big character thing, and that Kendall, the last thing he wants to do is become his father. So in doing so, even though he wants to kind of succeed his father, it's the fact that he doesn't want to like be the guy that disregards like the nice gestures from his kid. So it's a big character move.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So. Point being, so they have a role. So Willow has always had a really nice relationship with Connor. So on the flip side, Connor he went more kind of big and flashy. So he got just a very bad taste.
Got Lin-Manuel Miranda.
He basically paid like a king's ransom for Lin-Manuel because Willa's into theater and Connor is into history. He basically got her like, hey, you like Hamilton? Everyone likes Hamilton. I guess who I got for you? Lin-Manuel Miranda to meet you and hang out at the party. It'll be awesome. And the idea, though, what he did not realize is one, he's essentially bought Lin-Manuel Miranda into slavery for a night, which is kind of in bad taste. And secondly, using him as a little dancing monkey. And secondly, Lin-Manuel Miranda apparently disdains the 1%, but like all of us, he likes money, so he's going to do it.
Yep.
So the gag here being we paid through the nose, and Lin-Manuel Miranda's just going to go like, oh yeah, hey, how's it going? Merry Christmas. And he's like, oh look, there's a buffet. He's just going over. He's going to be hanging out by the snack table and just kind of like the free gift bags and stuff.
And I would like to think that he is very animated and excited about that.
Yeah, he's going to show up with some enthusiasm. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, hey, how's it going? So hey, Merry Christmas. Where are the festivities? Like where where are the spirits and everything, man? And he's just going to kind of like fade in. All the enthusiasm is going to drop at the see you. Yeah.
I would like to think that we're going to like play it as almost like unofficially canon to the Lin-Manuel Miranda we saw in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I'm sorry, is what to the Curb version of Lin-Manuel Miranda?
Basically, like in my head canon, it's like kind of like an unofficially like that's the same version of Lin that we would use here.
Yeah, sure, I'm down for that. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Because of course we had a very villainous version of Lin-Manuel Miranda.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know. Maybe this one it wouldn't necessarily be villainous, more just like very apathetic.
No, that's the thing. I mean, this is kind of like a slight step removed from the Curb one. The Curb one was very exaggerated.
Right, yeah. But, so maybe we should dial it back a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So let's see. So okay. So then we speaking. Okay, so we go from.
Oh my god.
So we go from one gift to the Magi to not a gift to the Magi. The point is, Tom and Greg are a little comedy. Here's they're exchanging gifts in a nice moment here.
Greg, look at this awesome Christmas sweater I gave you. Don't you love it?
It's cashmere. That's great, Greg. It's cashmere. So
and then Greg awkwardly points out, like, "Uh-oh, Tom, look what we're under."
It says, well, Greg, why don't you? Well,
come on, Greg, why do you lay one on me, man?
No, very funny. Like, no, come on, Greg. Like, just like,
he gets very serious. Like, Greg, what are you, homophobic?
Yeah, are you homophobic or something? No. And basically leans in and it's like, Greg, what are you doing, man? I'm married.
And so like basically like how Succession likes to have like the wandering camera. It goes like this is like the ultimate wandering camera move, Dragon.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Tell him.
Okay, so basically we're up close during that moment, and then we kind of the intimate moment there, and we basically zoom out and rack focus, I guess you call it, to Shiv at the bar, of basically watching them and kind of glaring at them as she basically in disdain and disgust. It's like as she like downs like one eggnog, she puts it down, another. Line it up. Just keep it coming. Just another one. Like ho, give me another one now.
Oh my god. Oh, also we have to mention, I don't think you have it in the notes, that she has more of her weird dancing.
Oh yeah, right.
Weird drunken dancing that has
at some point we hit on the Squiggles note, so at some
point totally. Squiggle throughout the episode is just laying down some sick Christmas song remixes, Dragon.
We have Kendall doing kind of a classy kind of bob and weave and sort of thing of like, yeah, that's my man Squiggles, yeah. And of course,
I would like to think that HBO would release a full like Christmas album of Squiggle remixes to go along with this episode.
Yeah, they probably won't, but it's a fun thought.
I know.
Then we'd have.
I mean, honestly, though, the music in this show is really, really well revered, and if they just got like the composer to do that, I could see it work.
Sure. So then we have basically probably while Shiv's doing some drunken bad dancing, we see Connor's like, "Ooh, my sister, God."
She's only my half sister, folks.
Meanwhile, so then we have Stewie. Stewie calls. So let's see. So Stewie calls. Sorry, I just want to backtrack to. I just love with the mistletoe gag. It's going back to the very beginnings of the Greg and Tom, kind of like the mind game sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
The fact that Greg's like, hey, it's just like, hey, Greg, look, we're standing there, mistletoe. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that Tom initiated that, and then it was kind of lured.
Oh no, for sure. You're right. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So Stewie, who by the way was on Miss Marvel recently. He's in the MCU now. Stewie. So Stewie, he calls in because we didn't give him in the episode. He calls Kendall asking if he got his his kind of screw you gift for the Christmas season. The basically a crypto coin BS sort of like stocking of coal thing. Like, hey, Kendall, did you
how
get my
about
Christmas?
just an NFT of a stocking full of coal?
Isn't that the same thing with crypto coin or no?
NFT, I believe, is a form of crypto, but I think we should specifically have it be an NFT.
Well, whatever's more annoying and stupid, let's give them that.
NFT, definitely.
Okay, fine. Like a holiday NFT.
Yes.
Of basically a stocking full of coal because, yeah, did you get it? Because you've been a bad boy this year at Daddy's company. Good luck with that, buddy. Happy holidays. See you next year, maybe.
All right. Meanwhile, Carl and Frank Dragon. It's like I feel like Carl and Frank are kind of like unsung heroes in Succession, where it's like they don't get a lot of screen time, but god damn it, they're holding down the fort. And Dragon, they are genuinely enjoying themselves.
Yeah, they're the only two guys having a relatively good time at this soon-to-be train wreck of a party. I just all of them having like a humble Christmas, like Merry Christmas, Frank. Thank you, Carl.
Oh my god.
And I was like, like kind of like toasting glasses and just kind
it's kind of like it goes back to like the humble roots of the Christmas special, like the Mary Tyler Moore Show and stuff like that,
Yeah, and they'd be eating some Christmas cookies, and
right.
They'd have like Christmas ties on, maybe Santa hats. Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, let's go with Santa hats. I like that.
All right, so meanwhile, Logan, basically the idea is like intercut a little bit here. Logan's breathing down Hugo's neck about where the F is Luke, or where the F is
Matson.
Thanks, sorry.
Yeah.
A pre-programmed for Luca this whole
thing. No, I know. It's all good.
Matson. Point being is like, where the F is Matson? He's supposed to be here. We got that stupid effing sled for him. Like, where is he? Like, make some calls. Like, where is he? I gotta put. Anyway, I forget if is he in. Did I put him in the suit yet or no?
I feel like him being put in the suit is where things go south. So yeah, him in the suit is that's the key. Like, he's freaking out. He's in the suit, Dragon. I feel like that's the transition.
Yeah, he's donning the Santa suit, and he's like, for pictures and everything. He's giving out gifts, like expensive gifts and checks and bonuses. I'm sure, not that kind of stuff. So now Logan's like, he's just kind of getting into it here. Like, okay, well, I'll take the stupid pictures, but it's like we got to stall until he gets here.
Oh.
So Logan's making a big show of things. It's like he demands that Tom like get his outfit onto. So now basically it's Logan Roy and basically kind of like a makeshift, not a makeshift, like basically has like this big, like every time you see a mall Santa, you have him like on the little throne chair thing. So you have like a throne chair thing with Logan, and then next to him is Tom in a ridiculous elf costume.
Oh my god, yes.
And Greg is basically kind of walking by. He says, "Greg, my boy, come here." And he's making a big
Gregory,
the son I never had. Greg, come here. And he's
oh my god.
It's just like, come on, let's get a picture. Oh yeah, sure. No, sit on my lap. That's okay. No.
So, like I said, Dragon, my idea for this scene is that it basically turns into like the pleasant version of Boar on the Floor, where it's like instead of killing him with humiliation, he's literally killing Greg with kindness in a malicious way, I think.
Certainly. Well, again, malicious in that he wants to make his kids feel bad, and he wants
right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like, oh, Greg, come here. Yes, and it's just like, no, I'm really, I'm good. Greg, sit on my effing lap right now.
I also feel like this might be like one of the few times in the episode where his sanity starts to slip a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's thinking this is a power move, but in reality,
right, exactly. When in reality, it's just super uncomfortable.
Even Shiv, I think Shiv chuckles while this is like slugs right before she slugs one back, like just there's like a little hiccup, like hiccup.
Oh god.
Kind of like swigs it back as Greg is gonna sit. Hilarious. It's not going to happen this way, but imagine like Greg would be like the kid who's crying on Santa's lap. He's like, he's not crying, but you get the sense he's crying on the inside.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be here.
Oh god.
And he's like, and just Tom's giving him a look of like pity, of like, Greg, sack up, just smile.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to be there, man. Just look in there. And Hugo's like forced to sidle, and Hugo's like taking
to wear the elf suit, Greg.
And like Hugo's like forced, like, Hugo, take the picture. He's like, okay. And you have like Carl. They just have like Carl and Frank just giving each other a look of like, yeesh.
What is going on here?
Yeah, and of course we have Lin-Manuel Miranda by the snack dealer shrugging it off like, rich one percenters,
like,
crazy.
I've seen worse.
Yep, I've seen Boar on the floor. I've seen the room where it happens. I've been there.
Oh man.
So, meanwhile, so during all this, I think Roman of the bunch, he's feeling. I think his feelings are getting a little hurt, and he's trying to hide.
I feel like he's the only one where it actually like works to affect him, because Kendall's already dealing with his own shit, and Shiv is just like in La La Land. So
yeah, that's the thing. So Roman's always had the thing where I think I really was kind of rooting for Roman to be in a position of power in the third season.
Dragon, he was one dick pick away.
Yeah, that's the thing. He was really gaining the respect. He brought in the big fish. You know, he was yeah, if he didn't miss sending that photo, if he didn't send the photo at all, honestly, it would have been good. Yeah. Anyway, so he's a little jealous of Greg here. I think after this train wreck, perhaps in general, he's probably been overhearing the kind words to Greg and stuff, or maybe like some genuine pleasantries to Greg. And it's really getting on him, and it basically this results in him hitting on Jerry, just to kind of deflect and kind of unwind, of just like, hey Jerry, looking good. You want to go out back for a while or some stuff like that. Now you get the sense that amidst this, Jerry's smart enough to see he's masking some pain here. I think she feels a little bad for him, genuinely. So again, kind of threading the needle with the Jerry payoff. So Kendall, meanwhile, Kendall's calling his kids because again he's feeling a little bad, so he's calling his kids. And you have this very just like this agonizing, uncomfortably sad phone call where it's more so them asking if he's okay. Like, Dad, why are you calling us? Are you okay?
Yeah, it's basically like Kendall realizing that the kids kind of have to play the adult in this situation now, and they are growing up way too fast because of him. And
he's forced that on them, and he feels terrible about it. Like he's not the beacon of stability, he once was. Like Grandpa was the one that scared him. Now it's the other way around.
And of course, in addition to his father and, the stuff going on with his company, he's, of course, worried about a distance between him and the kids.
Mm-hmm. And I think Kendall, if depending on how you look at it, glass half full or half empty here, it's like perhaps he's looking at it less in the emotional side of things, like the distance from his kids, with the business side of things is like, if my name means nothing, then what have I built for my children? Like my father built for me. It's like if I was a guy whose name was once on the building and had a parking space, that's all I'm gonna have left.
Where
it was really all for nothing, which is really weighing on him, bringing him to a really low place. So,
and then, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the gag of the episode.
Literally. So Tom's like going by and kind of showing off Greg's sweater to Shiv, who could not give two craps. And again, mind you, Tom is still dressed
Tom's like the one that initiates this.
Yeah. Like I think the idea that they're happening by all kind of jovially after that train wreck that happened with the Santa Claus thing. Oh, hey, Shiv, hey. Did you see the gift that I got?
I feel like psychologically Tom is embarrassed by that train wreck and he wants to take his aggression out on her.
I mean, sure. I didn't really think of it that way. That's fine. That's a way to play it, though.
I'm just saying, like, psychologically, you get a lot of that with his dynamic with Greg. Yeah. And like I said, I feel like as far as like taking out his aggression goes, I feel like it makes sense to do it more to Shiv now.
Yeah, I mean, he's not throwing he's not throwing water bottles at her, but it's the next best thing.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a more socially acceptable thing, unfortunately. so Tom's showing off Greg's sweater. She doesn't care, and again, Tom is still fully dressed like an elf, by the way.
Right.
The idea is that they're all in their costumes till the end of the episode now. So Tom. Point being, like, he's kind of showing off the sweater. It's cashmere, Shiv. Isn't that nice? So she ends up like, oh, yeah, very nice. And you see her getting a little green, just kind of disgusted, but then you're misreading the disgust for actual nausea. So she projectile, again, it's a white sweater, and she projectile vomits eggnog just like onto Greg's sweater, leading to...
Shiv, look what you did. You ruined Greg's sweater. Come on, Greg, let's get you cleaned up. Shame on you, Shiv.
meanwhile, is to rub it in him for Shiv's embarrassed that she just threw up at a party, and then her father's like in the distance, having watched all this unfold, just
another classic Succession camera pan.
Yeah, just like a little tisk 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 thing of like, oh, Pinky, tisk tisk.
Pinky.
so like, oh, for shame, Pinky, like, oh.
Oh god, I was way too proud of that whole routine.
So you might have heard a few other places, kids.
Yes.
One time horrifically misquoted, but yes. So Logan, meanwhile, he puts he puts Mattson on the screen here. He finally gets a hold of Mattson. Hugo's like, "Hey, listen, we got. What do you mean? Is he in the building? Well, not exactly. What is he? It's like a phone patch. Let's put him on. Let's. We need to get him on the screen." So they put him on the screen, and basically this crestfallen and flabbergasted reaction from Logan that, like, Tiki, you want to feel this one? Like, how would?
Yeah, sure. So basically, Mattson is essentially like at a 24-hour Christmas party hosted by the theme park that we see throughout
the Bright Star theme park that we've seen ever since the beginning. Yeah.
Yes. And man, it is an exclusive event. All the hot celebrities are there, Dragon. Skarsgård is just like chumming it up, and he is just thrilled to not be at the party.
Yeah, and he's just like, sorry I couldn't be there, guys. I'm doing market research at our fabulous theme parks. What can I tell you? So sorry I couldn't be there. Just kind of like took me on a whim. Sometimes you just gotta go with the flow, like
Oh my god.
So of course this is like kind of the last thing Logan Roy wants to see or hear, and everything. He's wasted God knows how much money on that stupid sleigh, and basically it's like the fact that this guy's supposed to be at this party is like a vote of confidence. Like, guys, we're in good hands. Meet the new guy. We love him. Give him a warm welcome, but we can't do that when he's like just kind of half-heartedly saying, "Hey guys, Merry Christmas."
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's see. So and then we have our So point being, that's kind of the low of lows for everyone, really. That's like, okay, it's like Logan's now at a low point. They're all just kind of at a low point. So then we have kind of our big moral, kind of our big Linus on the Christmas stage moment, one could say. So Kendall is either outside the house or like near, like kind of inside the house, probably where the wait staff would be. Importantly, and they're essentially he's holding some drugs, presumably like cocaine in a vial, probably in a vial, cocaine in a vial, like a bindle or something. And he's saying like to himself, and again, we have this running gag with White Christmas, by the way. So we have so again, Shiv is kind of thrown up, and again, very much on a white sweater and like kind of like a White Christmas sort of thing, and kind of a discuss. These are all very bad White Christmases too, by the way, very bad taste. They have that. Kendall's saying to himself here, I guess it'll be a White Christmas after all. Like right before he's about to snort cocaine, he's just about to pour the vial. He's unscrewed the cap and he's about to pour the vial out on his hand to do like a bump or something, potentially a lethal bump. We don't know how low he's feeling. I don't know. So before he does that, we have a real kind of a Christmas miracle sort of moment happen here, and I really like how haunting. I'm proud of myself for this bit.
No, this is good. Yeah.
So he exchanges this haunting glance. Because one of the best things Succession ever did was the way they ended season 1. I feel that was seriously the most brilliant storytelling move I think they made. So he exchanges this.
I love how every season ends with this massive status quo shift. I think so far they've been 3 for 3 with that.
They have. You're right about that. They really do end it really big and really, really greatly. I'm just saying that was like completely. Where the heck do we go from here?
Sure,
ending. So it was like, point being, we have this. He's exchanging a glance with like a waiter, like one of the wait staff, like a busboy or something. One of the guys holding the trays at the party, and like the waiter that he essentially got killed in the first season. So he has this kind of this almost ethereal, kind of like haunting, knowing glance, as if like the waiter kind of knows what happened at the end of the first season, even though he doesn't. But it's like kind of like that glance of like, so you're gonna do it. And this sort of like, and basically it's communicating volumes to Kendall and kind of stops him cold in his tracks here. It's kind of communicating, look, is this it for you? Are you going to go all the way back to your low point at season 1? Like just all the way back to you're just the screw up druggie of the family who has a famous last name. So this leads to Christmas miracle as he's about to get high. He sees the waiter. it kind of reminds him of how far he could fall potentially. So they exchange that look, and Kendall he tosses the cocaine and he sobers up for the party.
Yeah,
for the holiday, but in general basically he's determined now to get out of his funk for the new year. Be the father his children should have.
And then Roman is also he's kind of in a better mood. Like I feel like Roman probably takes the most delight in the Luca thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Mattson just completely just completely like, kind of embarrassing his father, and basically like, maybe maybe I do have like a chance of being the good son again, or like perhaps I don't know, I do. It's kind of like, dad is human after all, and in fact I'm not crazy, he's crazy. So he makes amends with the. So in the one of the really effective things in the first episode of Succession, I believe, is you if you reminded me, you have this Roman does this really cruel thing to a kid, where basically like a
I
kid
feel
of
like
one.
It's such a great kind of like thesis statement for who Roman Roy is as a character at the start of the show.
Exactly. So the idea is like one of the wait staff. The idea is like a servant or like someone like who works inside the family, like a maid or something. They have like kids and they're welcome at the parties and functions. So Romans kind of saw this kid and offered him like $1,000,000 if he made like a shot or something. Was it made like a basketball shot, right?
Uh-huh.
And he didn't. So basically, just really a cruel thing for him to do. But you get the sense that Roman absolutely meant that, though, that he would have given him that $1,000,000 check. But by the same token, it's like a cruel thing his father probably would have done to him, but more like basically, it's like it's it's something along the lines that Logan Roy probably would have done or probably shrugged off, but he's basically just kind of very much literalized it. Like, I'm going to offer this child $1,000,000 of hope, and that he probably will not be able to do.
Exactly.
In effect, possibly traumatizing this kid. So he sees the kid, he's in a good mood, and he's figuring, well, the company's going to go down anywhere. My shares, I might as well spend the money while I have it. So he writes an apology. Hey, kid, come here. Listen, I'm sorry about what happened on the basketball court. Here's $1,000,000. You know what? 1.2, just for inflation.
I threw in the adjusted for inflation thing, and I'm kind of proud of that.
Yes, you did. So he basically, and the kid's like over the moon. And of course, the real life implications, I have no idea what's going to happen with that. We're just going to leave it there. So it's like, oh, Dad, I got money. Or does he tell them? So it's like a 1.2 mil a check that he's just elated to have. And maybe he hugs Roman. I don't know. He hugs Roman, he runs off. I don't know. And Jerry sees this, and she's a little touched. She's a little impressed with Roman.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to pay off memorably, momentarily. Meanwhile, Greg and Shiv, Greg, after he's cleaned up, he's in kind of like a probably like a loud Christmas sweater or something. He's just wearing something that is not the now stained and ruined cashmere.
Yes.
Greg and Shiv kind of have a moment where he sidles up to her at the bar.
Should Shiv kind of be like, hey, how's the sweater?
No, I think she's like, hey, Greg, sorry about the sweater.
Uh-huh.
I think she'd be genuinely apologetic because it was embarrassing for her too. Like, yeah, sorry about the sweater.
Right, yeah.
Just, yeah, it's fine. It was. I probably wouldn't have worn it much anyway. So basically, ultimately, he makes like a genuine like. He says, "Look, I know things are tough with Tom right now, but he's basically reminding her that you did kind of push him into this position without really saying that." And ultimately reminding her, Greg and Tom, they are well-intentioned guys. They play by the rules. They play by the family. But, they kind of got caught in the middle of a power struggle, which is going to lead to unpopular moves. And again, deep down, Shiv knows, she respects the move that Tom made. But,
Mm-hmm.
So again, she's not completely fixed in everything here. It's just, what, maybe I should stop drowning my sorrows. That's pretty much as far as it goes. Maybe I should stop drowning my sorrows and accept it like a big girl.
All right.
So, meanwhile, so the third of our White Christmas gags. So, Roman is rewarded for his kind holiday gesture by Jerry. So basically, the pattern here is like we have like a genuine moment of pathos followed by a gag. It's kind of the pattern we have going on through a lot of this. So, Roman. So after a nice heartfelt moment with Greg and with Greg and Shiv, we have like Roman being rewarded by Jerry, who just walks up to him and like he's making like a crash remark, and he's kind of cut off mid sentence. She basically takes him to like a corridor and she sexually harasses him back in a way that he'd love. So guys, that's kind of one of the crass version of the Christmas miracle. And again, importantly, it's not on a cell phone or anything, so it wouldn't come back to haunt her later. It's be like an old school sexual harassment thing where she essentially, to put it delicately, she reaches down the pants and rewards him for being a good boy for her this year. Which he'd say
and then
probably
our
kind of
boy Squiggle Dragon, he's got a hot remix of White Christmas that he wants to throw down.
Yeah, which of course, the idea they all got a white Christmas in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, so then we have kind of again we go from the gag back to the pathos here with our big closer, and the big closer here being Kendall has a big moment with Papa. So Kendall delivers a screw you to deflate Logan's kind of balloon of this Christmas party that really makes him nervous deep down, even though Logan Roy would never admit to it. Because Brian Cox playing it very stoically, and it'd be like kind of like it'd be like a Madman Christmas, where he's like alone in a room, the two of them, and he's like the Santa hat's off and the beard, and he's just in the suit, and he's just taking a swig of bourbon or something. And basically, long story short, here Kendall's saying, look, you basically very confident. It's like the idea that Kendall has peeked at the scripts for season 4 that you and I haven't, but he's peeked at the scripts for season 4, and he's basically taunting him with the fact that, look, you screwed up, you did, and we'll be waiting to clean it up with you because you're going to need a team up in season 4, essentially.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Kendall's confident that eventually he's going to realize how after that this show of like the man who was supposed to transition power he phoned it in quite literally. That's the guy you put in charge of your company, of your legacy, the whole succession namesake here. So he's just relishing the fact that his father is going to have to ask for his and his siblings' help. So he's just waiting for that with a smile. So Kendall kind of has the upper hand, and Logan's just kind of scoffing, but we linger on the shot after Kendall leaves. Just like, yeah, Logan kind of is thinking he might be right.
I would say it's another kind of like good succession lingering shot where Kendall leaves the room and then the camera kind of does a zoom in on Brian Cox.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, see, what's our ending?
All right, so Dragon Hugo is gathering everyone together for a photo.
Yeah, per Logan's earlier request, even though at this point Logan just doesn't give a crap about the Christmas
also,
photos.
Dragon, I would like to think that through the credits of this episode, we get all the photos that Hugo's been taking.
I'm down for that. Sounds good.
Including the very uncomfortable one with the lap sitting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So let's see.
Tell him the egg gag.
So Hugo, he's taking the picture, he's gathering everybody around, and tells them, "Okay, everyone, say Merry Christmas." And they're all there's like a beat, like a brief beat that goes by, and they're kind of looking to each other. And you have like Kendall with his arms wrapped around his father, with the Santa suit and everything, and they all just kind of look to each other and they say, "F off" with a smile.
Fuck off!
But they're smiling when they say it. F off with a big old Christmas smile. And we end on the flash being taken, and the Christmas photos are on the end credits, and that's the end. That's our pitch.
All right, so Dragon, what tropes did we cook up?
Well, Tika, didn't you have final thoughts you want to say to round things out?
Or? Oh yeah, sure. Sorry. Yeah, so honestly, Dragon, this was a really fun one to do. I feel like we had a really interesting experiment on our hands as far as the status. I feel like this might have been our most challenging show to work with as far as the status quo, because it's constantly shifting on this show, and we're basically playing a guessing game out of how it's going to go and what the dynamics are going to be like. So, with that in mind, I had a lot of fun with it. And I really think we came up with some really killer gags. And I also really like the way that we, especially on this podcast, like we kind of talked about some cinematography choices that we didn't even necessarily think of in the brainstorming process. So I appreciate that part of it too. Overall, I think this is really solid. And we got it done in under an hour, which is, that's also, time on the back to us, yay for brevity.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a fun time again. I think as far as an outline goes, it was rather successful as well. I think just things kind of ebb and flowed once we just kind of balanced it between the kids' plot line. So I think it all kind of worked out. I think we lucked out with the whole. We were going to maybe go a little more ambitious, then we kind of stripped it down and realized no, we can make it just simpler. I mean, they would all be really unhappy with them. Which we can imagine a miserable Christmas, kind of a Christmas Eve sort of party situation, which would probably play really well for them. And let's just go broad in some places, and it worked.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's go over some tropes. So let's see. We have
so obviously big Christmas party, family get together.
Yep, we have Christmas costumes with the Santa suit and the elf thing, and basically sitting on Santa's lap.
eggnog, of course.
That we do. We have a gift of the Magi.
Christmas sweaters.
Shiv is our Scrooge.
Would you consider Lin-Manuel Miranda the celebrity guest?
Yes, I would.
Okay, there we go.
Let's see. So again, in general, we have like Christmas decorations, which we didn't really highlight a lot of, but they're there. It's kind of a classy Christmas, but you have like wreaths and maybe some lights, and nothing.
Yeah, probably like a signature, tree in the foyer or something.
Christmas cookies, Christmas hats, Christmas ties,
Christmas cocaine.
Well, we have White Christmas as kind of the
running
that's
gag. What I'm saying. So yeah, exactly.
For sure. Let's see. We have. I'm trying to think if there's anything.
What about hip and trendy remixes of Christmas songs?
I'll say that it's snowing too. We didn't mention that, but it's snowing outside.
All right.
Let's see. Well, sleigh. We had a big old sleigh. We have Christmas in a theme park, kind of alluded to.
Yes.
Let's see. Is there any? Okay. Calling the kids the kids not being able to come for Christmas.
I would say just the general idea of like family drama and pathos around the holidays.
Yeah, sure, and also like big events happening at Christmas.
Right.
And the Christmas photo, and
indeed, yeah, and especially the end credits thing. That's a total trope.
Yeah, I think that about covers it, right?
I think so.
So, Tiki, doesn't it just baffle you as it baffles me, much like it baffles Logan Roy. Like, how does a guy not show up to his own Christmas party when he's the guest of honor? How the heck, after 9 seasons, do we not have a catchy slogan, like kind of like a catchy, like end all be all, like way of summing up what we just did, listing out the tropes the way we did, the whole reason we even have a pitch, like just a way to kind of go over those holiday tropes we hold so near and dear. If only we could like scientifically analyze them in a way that would satiate everybody, like a way that would like we could adorn with something from a very popular kind of Christmas related franchise, like a little haunting, mind you, but a little like it's like a way of like putting a totem of the holidays under a glass slide, but what we call this thing, man? Tiki, do you have? I'm bereft of information right now. I am bereft of creativity. It all went into the pitch. Can you save me, buddy? Do you have anything? Do you have a Christmas miracle in your back pocket you'd like to share with the rest of the class? What do you got, man?
What about putting the mistletoe underneath the microscope?
You know what? I think it'll do, Pig. I think that'll do.
On the next Christmas in July.
La 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 la
la.
Shiv,
look what you did. Come on, Greg. Let's get you cleaned up. Shame on you, Shiv.